Well, I'm LifeBlood. This is George G, and the time is right. Welcome to today's guest, strong and powerful Melissa Kwan. Melissa, are you ready to do this?
Yes, I am, especially with that voice.
Yeah, let's go, Melissa. Melissa is the co-founder and CEO of EWebinar. They're an organization automating the tedious task of giving the same webinar over and over again, unlocking your free time. Melissa, tell us a little about your personal life, some more about your work, and why you do what you do.
Yeah, so this is my third startup. In my previous startup, I mean, they're all bootstrapped. So in my previous startup, I was everything except for code. So you can imagine like all of the sales demos, training, onboarding, like all those things I was doing on a daily basis, sometimes 5 or 6 of them back to back. And all of these were like exactly the same content for new users that were coming onto the platform. But not only that, I have been a digital nomad for about 5 years now. So when I was running that company, not only was I doing all these repetitive live webinars daily just to keep people on my platform, I was doing them on complete opposite time zones of my customers. Like my customers were in North America. I was not in North America. So I just found it completely ridiculous that I would have to do the same thing over and over. Like it doesn't even make sense for like any person to do that, like just hiring a person to do that, let alone the founder of the company. And I was always so exhausted and so mentally drained from these that I didn't have the mind share to do anything else. So I had always dreamt of this incredible product that would do my job for me. Well, I could go and have more fun, sleep more, or just do literally anything else. So I ran that company for 5 years and I just kept thinking about this magical product. And when that company was acquired in 2019, I decided this was the problem that I was going to solve, not just for other people, because I really believed there were other people like me that just absolutely loathe running like live webinars. And I believed that this product needed to exist, not just for me, but also for them. And that was kind of the beginning of the journey. I sold that company. I convinced my CEO at the time to let me work on a side project because I had spent 10 years in real estate tech and I was kind of sick of doing that and needed a new challenge. And because it wasn't conflicting with what I sold, they let me do this. So that was 3.5 years ago now, built the product for 1.5 years and the product's been live for 2 years.
Awesome. And has it gone just as expected?
Never. I mean, does it ever? I mean, it always takes 2 or 3 times longer. It will cost 2 or 3 times more. And you just have like all these unexpected challenges. Like I actually just wrote about this yesterday. Like I had three businesses. First one was an agency. Second was an enterprise SaaS. So like big ticket items to big corporations. The third, which I'm running now, is like a self-serve, like product-led growth SaaS, like $50 product. Everyone signs up on their own, kind of like a MailChimp. So I went into each company thinking, I know exactly what I'm doing because I did one before. Like an agency cannot be more different than an enterprise SaaS company. An enterprise SaaS company cannot be more different than a self-serve, like product-led growth company. What I'm doing now, like needing to figure out how to attract people to our site or, a piece of content, how to get them to sign up, watch a demo, convert, not churn. Like this is the absolute hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I'm finding that I need to learn new things every day just to keep this running. And I never expected that. So that is, I think, the one biggest unexpected surprise is I actually have no idea what I'm doing because everything is pretty new.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate that. All right. So people who are having a similar experience to you of doing product demos and you're exhausted, or what are some of the other use cases that you're commonly seeing that people love what it is that you're doing?
I mean, our biggest use case is actually onboarding and training. So whether that's for external customers or prospects or internal staff, right? So those are actually the people that are doing the most webinars. Because if you think about sales demos, like, yes, people do a lot of those, but it's one function, right? Like, here's my one product, here's my one sales presentation. But if you think about like when someone comes onto your platform or even a service, like we have flooring companies, hair replacement companies, we have insurance companies, we have lots of tech companies, the number of different products, features, feature updates, training that you have to deliver on an ongoing basis is like enormous. So a lot of times people just don't do them because they don't have a resource, or they'll put together a video, but it's just not, a video is not the same experience, right? People come to a webinar, they expect to be engaged, they expect to be able to reach out, ask questions. And that's what's really special about what we built is you can run an asynchronous webinar and still have a chat system where people can reach out and you can respond at your own time. So while you can hop in to respond live, you don't have to, you can respond later. And that actually means that you can run your webinars 24/7, like literally 24/7, without ever missing a question from a customer. But more importantly, they're not missing an answer from you, which is most important. So sales is actually our second best use case, but onboarding and training is actually our number one use case.
Got it. So during the webinar, let's just say that I'm doing a new training for some new employees, and it's at 10 o'clock on Monday. And during that automated webinar that they're watching, somebody uses the chat feature and says, "Hey, I don't understand this. Can you explain that? How do I get alerted to that?"
Yeah, so as the host, there's a few different ways. We send an email notification, and this is all customizable. You can integrate with Slack. So some people like that because they like to live in Slack, and you can respond directly from a Slack channel, which is really convenient, especially if you're on mobile. But we allow you to set up desktop notifications, so a little message pops up if you're on your computer. So there's multiple different ways where you will get alerted. But the beauty of it is you don't have to respond in real time. Like, we are already used to this type of communication. We actually do that every day. Like, somebody texts me, I may respond now, I may respond in 2 hours, right? You go to any website right now, there's a little bubble that pops up that says, "Hey, George, can I help you?" We actually just took the exact same concept and stuck it onto our product.
Got it. Nice. So you could be on the beach doing
Yes.
whatever you're doing, and
Yes,
you get a notification of some kind that Steve, watching the webinar, he had this question, and you could respond immediately if you were so inclined, or you could respond whenever you wanted.
It drives my partner crazy when I'm like at dinner and I just can't help it. Like, I have to go look at it. Like, I have this like notification ADD, right? Like, if there's a number, I have to press on it. So like, it just drives him crazy when I'm at dinner or like watching Netflix or whatnot, and I'm just like responding. But yeah, like, you have the opportunity to, but only at your own time, like if you wish. But
It's
yes,
the entrepreneur thing we were talking about.
Yeah, you can be in your PJs, you can be on the beach, you can be anywhere.
I love it. So what are some of the big, I guess, the main questions or concerns or objections that you get from people?
I mean, I think I never get objections from like people who attend my webinars, but I do get objections from people who are looking at automating their process, because it is still not a widely known concept, right? Like, everybody knows what a CRM is, right? Like, you have a company, you get a CRM, or like you have a company, you sign up for MailChimp. Like, these are the things you have to have. Right now, you have a company, you sign up to Zoom. And I think anytime you want to change a habit, like something that people already know, that's hard. So what people know as a webinar right now is there's a time, Tuesday at 11, I get people to join, 20% of people show up, and then I get to talk to them, I get to present and engage. The biggest objection I get is, but if I turn this on and if I'm not there, are people going to get angry? And that's what's interesting, right? Because we already communicate asynchronously everywhere else, just not the webinars that we know today. So it's hard for people to make that mental leap between, oh yeah, you can actually have a Zoom that's a video, but also have a support chat that's stuck with it, right? All we did was take two pieces of something that already works and stuck it together. So once they attend the demo, then they can visualize and understand. But the biggest objection I get is, I don't understand why I don't have to be there, because it's a webinar. I'm always there for a webinar.
Right.
But once they see the experience, then they're like, okay, yeah, like I get what you mean. And it's actually a better experience because the video quality is better, right? People can actually attend it. Like, the average attendance rate for all of our customers is 65%. Like, any marketer will know that that is absolutely unheard of, but that's because it's on a recurring schedule. So it's not next Tuesday at 11. It could be tomorrow at 11. It could be right now. It could be, Saturday. So by giving people the opportunity to press play right now or schedule a time that actually fits their schedule, turns out they can actually show up.
Amazing. I love it. So how does it actually work? Let's say I sign up and I've got a handful of trainings that I want to do for new employees. I've got a couple of sales presentations I want to do. Do I record through like a software? Do I record on my phone? It's a webinar, so probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I actually use a really neat app that turns my iPhone into my webcam, and that gives you the best video quality that one can ask for not spending any money. So I think the app is called Camo. I think it's like $50 or something like that. But if you use that along with any screen recording software, it could be a Loom, QuickTime, Descript, or if you're recording something that's an interview style, you can always use Zoom that people know, or you can use something like Riverside that has better video quality. But by the time people come into eWebinar, they already have a video. So we don't have a recorder. That's a whole different business. We're not going to get into that. It's a crowded space and everyone has their own favorites already. But once you have the video, all you do, you upload it into eWebinar. And what we allow you to do is we allow you to program in some interactivity. So you can program in polls, quizzes, resources, links to share, feedback, contact form to pop up at specific moments in time. What's really cool about that is it's not a webinar that's traditional. You come in and you're talking at me and that's it. Like when you go there, like you'll find very quickly that you're actually losing me to Instagram, or another tab. What eWebinar does is by popping up these kind of interactions, we invite the attendee to participate in the experience. How did you hear about us? Do you like this feature? What do you think? Who referred you to us? What comments do you have? So they're actually doing something every 2-3 minutes until the end where you actually get to deliver your CTA. It might be sign up, it might be book a call, like whatever that might be at the end. So they actually stay until the end because there's something to do. We allow you to assign chat moderators. And then we also allow you to customize a registration and thank you page within the platform, within our own page builder. But if you say like, hey, I really care about conversions or I care about my brand, I want to use my own landing page, we have a number of different widgets that you can install, like a button or a pop-up. You can use your own page if you want, just use our registration widget. And that's it. Like basically put in the video, program in your polls, quizzes, whatever you want, set a moderator, create a landing page. You can complete that probably in 15 minutes. And then it's just set and forget. Because when you set a schedule, it's a recurring schedule. So you could say, I want this to happen every day or every second day, whatever you want. And you just kind of sit there and let people come in. Like a lot of people will have their demos hosted on their website, like a homepage like us, for example. Or if you are doing this for onboarding and training, this webinar would be part of your onboarding series where people have to go through. Or maybe you want to embed this into your knowledge base because maybe not everything can be explained in one article or a 2-minute video. So these are like the different ways that you can get it out and how you can make that part of your business and not kind of like a standalone.
Nice. And so I think you probably already answered this question, but so I could email it to somebody and they can watch it whenever they wanted, and I can automate it so it happens at the same day of the week, at the same time every week, or however I want to do it.
Yeah, you could actually even set it to happen at the attendee's local time zone, right? The idea that I can only watch a webinar like Tuesday at 11, which is when everyone wants it, is actually kind of crazy, right? Because if you think about how we want to consume lifestyle content, right? Like my Netflix or whatever, my show, my favorite show. Like what if I told you, George, you can only watch your favorite show next Tuesday at 11? When was the last time that happened? Like more than 10 years ago.
It's a while back.
Yeah, the way that we expect to consume video in our everyday lives is so different than how business content is delivered. And why that's important is the people, like the founders, the business owners that understand that can align the content that they deliver through their business more closely to what people expect in their lives. Like I like to think about eWebinar as like the Netflix of webinars. You can play whenever you want, but most importantly, you can access the content when you want it, not when the producer tells me you can only watch it at this time. So you can even say, I want this to happen 10 and 2 every day at the attendee's time zone. So whether I'm going to your registration page from New York or Singapore or Amsterdam, I'm seeing this happen at 10 a.m. my time. And that's really useful for people that are serving customers everywhere in the world.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I love it. So how much is it, Michelle? Melissa, I called you Michelle. I'm so sorry.
It happens a lot because there is a Michelle Kwan.
Right.
And my last name is Kwan. This has been happening to me for like 30 years. It starts at $49, and then it kind of scales up from there depending on how many webinars you have.
Nice. Awesome. And it's easy to use. I don't need to be a tech.
It's the easiest. Yeah, and we have very, very low touch onboarding. So that's how easy it is. Basically, like the first time you upload a video, we just walk you through the steps. Of course, there's a learning process if you want to like integrate your CRM or marketing email or Twilio, whatever it might be. But if you just want to use it like in its basic form without any of those integrations, like anybody can do it.
Love it. Well, Melissa, the people are ready for that difference-making tip. What do you have for them?
You don't have to work harder, but you do have to work more creatively. This is something that I've learned very recently. Working harder doesn't mean you're more productive. It doesn't guarantee success. If you're working too hard or spending too many hours in a day working, like I would encourage you to think about what you can contract out or what you can automate, because this is the only way to build a sustainable business is figure out how to automate more things and creating more space for your personal life and your friends and family, and not let work consume you.
Well, I think that is great stuff. That definitely gets it. Come on. Are you getting better at that on business number 3, Melissa?
I am, but it's also kind of like an earned luxury. Yeah, because I had sold a previous company, like I'm still kind of riding off that. And that's giving me a bit of freedom to build this, not in a rush and not need to raise any venture capital for it. But this time around, I am very good with setting boundaries. So when I'm done working for the day, I'm done. And I don't work on weekends. I take my vacations very seriously. Of course, customer always comes first, but now I have very strict boundaries about when I don't do things. And I didn't used to do that.
Love it. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people learn more about you and how can they engage with EWebinar?
Yeah, so if you have any questions for me, either about product or my journey, look me up on LinkedIn. It's Melissa Kwan, Kwan. And if you're curious about EWebinar and how it can help your business, it's exactly as it's spelled, ewebinar.com. There's a demo on there. You can join it at your own time. I'm always managing the chat, and it's a very meta experience where you can watch our demo within the product, and we use the product itself to highlight the features.
Love it. Well, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, show Melissa your appreciation and share today's show with a friend who also appreciates good ideas. Go to ewebinar.com and check out the demo. And then you can find Melissa on LinkedIn as well. I'll list all those in the notes of the show. Thanks again, Melissa.
Thanks so much, George.
And until next time, keep fighting the good fight. We are all in this together.